Welcome to a special edition. You know, we flipped from Monday night to Monday afternoon only because I wanted to, and it works a lot better. We actually get much better engagement in the daytime. So, very special conversation this afternoon. We're going to call it Top 20 SBP, a new title, Salon Business Partner, used to be SalonCentric Sales Consultant. It's been many, many moons since we've engaged somebody from that community, which is a very big piece of the Summit Salon's Formula for Success, to come and have a conversation with us. And my guest, Marty Van Wagner, I couldn't pick a more favored guest. We have a number of SBPs watching the show this afternoon as well. And we're going to engage him in a conversation about what it is he's, first of all, his story. As many of you know him, but many don't. And his journey in the business and its relevancy and connection to what we all walk through daily is, I wanted to make sure that people in my community had an opportunity to know what I know, because it's profound. And then we'll get him chatting about what's going on in the salon these days, and how the relationship between the SalonCentric business partner and the salon owner and the service provider continues to evolve with social media, with digital, with the internet, with COVID. I mean, we've got a lot going on in the world now, and I wanted to get his pick on it as well. Follow him on Instagram. It's Marty_VW, because I do. And I love his posts, because he's always, he uses his platform to not only acknowledge and celebrate his clients' victories, but also when they're walking through, sometimes life gets lifey. And it's our turn to walk through life. And he's just always there to bring community support, and so it's a beautiful thing to have him on. So, and what I'm going to do is, really get him chatting about all of that. He's in my green room now. I'm going to bring him out, and then we're going to get him chatting about his story, and then we'll get him chatting about what the heck he's up to. And you're going to make him feel very welcome. Hey, Marty! Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, my friend.
Thanks for taking time out of your busy Monday to come and hang out with me and my community this afternoon.
I'm so honored that you wanted to have a chat with me.
Oh man, anytime I see you in the world, whether it's at a conference or working with one of your clients, it's just always great to hang out with you, because you're very, very close to you live at ground zero, and you not only watch it, but you help people walk through it. So it's good to have you on the show. I want to get you talking first of all about your story. You and I've chatted about your experience, your journey, but I want my community to hear what I hear and know what I know about you. So get us started. Who are you, and how'd you get into this crazy biz?
Well, it kind of started out, I was in the building industry, and I married a hairstylist, and we ended up buying a salon. I was a manager in the building industry, and the building industry was taking a dive. And we had owned the salon for less than a year, I think, something like that. And Maylie's had just acquired a beauty distributor called Jacob Miller at the time, back in the day. And they had lost a few consultants, and I decided to make the big leap and, just change careers. I never thought of sales as a career, because I don't feel like I'm a salesperson. I'm just more of a people person. What I didn't know is what this industry would actually give you when it came to being a people person. But yeah, so Keith Hufstadter hired me back in 1999. It took me about 3 interviews, but he finally hired me. Now he's one of my business partners at the Summit Salon Academy over in Tigard, with the group with Anastasia. And I've that's been the beginning of my genesis of my journey. The first business class I ever took was a Michael Cole class for 2 days. I think it was a boot camp or something.
Wow.
Jump up.
I remember, but it's been so long ago. I'm trying to put what era? Were we still in the 90s, or had we flipped to the millennium yet?
It was probably about 2009, 2010.
Okay.
And after I went to your event, I decided to sell we had a business partner in our salon. I decided to sell my salon because I didn't feel like there was enough profit in it to still own the business. After seeing you for 2 days, I was like, why am I killing myself? I'm working in the field, 5 days a week. And then I'm changing light bulbs and fixing sinks every weekend for like next to nothing. And, part of me wishes I'd never done that, but part of me is thankful that I had. I was married to a hairstylist at the time. And 2003, we decided, or 2002, we decided to sell the salon. In 2000, and that was after 9/11. And you know how that, that kind of the pain point of that. I mean, I just went through the downturn of the building industry into 9/11, and then all this other stuff. So anyways, we decided to sell the salon. About a year later, unfortunately, I had a divorce, and which was a really, really tough time in my life. So I decided to make another career change, and I went to work for Sexy Hair. Went to work for Michael O'Rourke and Donna Federici. Just loved them to death. They inspired me so much. And after 3 years with that company, Michael decided to sell the company. And as John Maley always said, the doors to the bus are always open. So in 2007, I jumped back on the bus, and just thereafter, SalonCentric or L'Oreal bought Maley's and a lot of other distributors. And I was on that bus now. And then, so then fast forward, I got remarried. My wife was a salon manager at one of the local SalonCentric stores. And in 2009, I think it was, we had our second child, and we found out about 9 months later that he had autism. And so my wife decided to quit working, be a stay-at-home mom, and I supported that. But it was a big financial thing. We went from two incomes. We had, I had my credit cards, I had my bills, my car payment, her car payment, her bills. We ended up filing bankruptcy not even a year later. And it was a really tough time between medical bills with, my son's autism treatments and some other things. It was, it was a lot. But fast forward, everything has gone stellar since then. We got on top of things, got on top of our finances. I've been investing my 401k all this time. When I got divorced, I actually had to spend my 401k to take care of all the debt that was left behind from, the chaos prior. So anyways, so then SalonCentric came on. They started investing in us, which I truly appreciate. I went from a duffel bag to a laptop, which was awesome. Yes. And your son Peter doesn't know anything about that, but it was a daily, weekly, your like piles to files. It was a lot of extra work on the weekends, I'll tell you that. But anyways,
Well, what you're giving us is just an extraordinary autobiography of, you kind of, the on-ramp was in the back end of the 90s, and the ups and downs, 3 steps forward, 4 steps back, step on a landmine, face down in the mud, with arrows in our back, start over, reboot. And every, as life continues and we have those moments where life gets lifey, you've always been one to, get on the other side of it. That's the definition of warriors aren't afraid of dying and going to hell because we've been there a few times and back. And so, what the hell, it's hell. But you've learned. And then the biggie is when Centric, L'Oreal buys Maley SalonCentric. That was a mammoth undertaking and transformation. There were just a lot of whatever you want to call it, 3 steps forward, 5 steps back, and not that now they're on a roll, and you not only survived all of it, but today you kind of look back and you go, the wisdom you get, you're on the thriving end. You're kind of riding the crest rather than being run over by it.
Yeah, when we were going through COVID, I had a lot of people reaching out to me when we were shut down on, they were trying to file for unemployment, and there was a lot of financial things going on. And, when I took your class way back in the day, you gave me a lot of advice about how to treat your debt, how to attack your debt, do a lot of this stuff. And if my clients have been doing that all the time, they would been in financial straits when COVID hit. And I personally had some very personal conversations with Darren Woods from Ensemble and 22 Changes. He actually got on and did a Instagram live with me to tell people how to apply for PPP money and tell stylists that, hey, you're eligible for this stuff. It's not just the salon owner. It's all of you, and you need to get yourself into a financial place. And I personally, my manager, Tandy Reyes, she's amazing. I love her to death. She had us do a card every year of what you wanted to achieve in the next year. And one of my things was I wanted to get myself into a better place financially with my savings. I wanted to refinance my house. I wanted to remodel my house. That didn't happen, but I achieved about 4 out of the 5 things on that list. She mailed us the cards back here just recently in the last month. And I went through it, and I couldn't believe, through all this chaos and everything that's been happening to me, my clients, and everybody else, that I actually knocked off all these things off my wish list in 1 year. And honestly, I'm lucky if I knock 2 or 3 of those off in any year. You think of like New Year's resolutions and all that kind of stuff. And I actually was able to refinance my house. I'm $50,000 solvent in cash. I took your advice, and I actually went, because I don't like to look at my 401k. I like to pretend like it's not there. I'm just on this side of $200,000 in my 401k.
Ah, good for you. Wow.
At 52. So
yeah. So we know that in the next 10 to 12, that will probably triple. So you've got another 15 years in front of you. So just the nest egg from that is going to put you just within striking distance of a 7-figure net worth. The land of milk and honey. Millionaire dumbness. But I want to just underscore something. There was a lot in what you shared, and I just want to unpack a couple parts of it. It's like, you walk through and survive and learn from all this, and then all of a sudden COVID hits. And what had happened to you, 5 years, 10 years prior to, is now happening to a lot of people. But you're now grounded in whatever we want to call that, financial enlightenment, money smart. And now you are using your platform in Instagram lives and stuff, whether you want to call them webcast, podcast, to really tutor your clients on how to navigate this in a way that, there's calm, there's wisdom, there's grounded in that. How many people would you say that just in the last 18 months or so, you helped, I'm going to call it, navigate that landmine, that field of landmines?
I can't even tell you. I was working, when we were shut down, I was working 10 to 12 hours a day. Thank God SalonCentric chose to give us an income during that time. I'm totally blessed. But I was working 10 to 12 hours a day, and I was researching stuff, because when I took unemployment, I've taken unemployment only once in my life. You had to walk into a physical building when I took unemployment. There wasn't online applications. I had to talk to like 12 different people to see how they got their unemployment so that I could give advice to other people. And it was challenging, but thank God there's a lot of people out there like Darren and Luke Hufstadter and some other people that are willing to share information that I could, reach out and give, all my independent little people, advice and basically call them down off a wall, because there were people that didn't know how they were going to make it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to your point, it's interesting because 12 hours a day, when we're all in shutdown, it's like, well, okay, so like, what are you doing? And it was 12 hours a day of tutoring, mentoring, encouraging, coaching people that had little to no experience on, while we're all 2 to 3, when I say we're all, many people that are fragile are 2 to 3 periods away from profound financial crisis. But, you go, yeah. But all of a sudden COVID hits, and in a nanosecond, we got a lot of people that went from, kind of holding their own to, I'm sucking air. The light at the end of the tunnel is a train coming my way. I'm going to be annihilated in a nanosecond. And so you're doing 12 hours a day in a lot of different ways, helping people to get through that. I don't know. That to me transcends a great sales consultant's job description.
Yeah, the other part that kind of hurts me is that, I was trying to do all this and try to help all these people. At the same time, I'm sitting there spending 12 hours a day. I wanted to do all those little house projects all my clients were doing, but they're running around spending money like jackrabbits. And I'm like, no, hold that money in. Like, if you have money to invest or save, you need to start saving it. You need to start listening to, Dave Ramsey and, other stuff. Like, you need to think about where you're putting that money. Yes, I would love to have a travel trailer. And yes, I would love to do all these little projects. But at the same time, I don't want to go back to that pain point I went back at during the housing crisis, when, my wife had to become a stay-at-home mom, and, you went through bankruptcy and just all this other stuff. I don't want anyone to feel that pain, because I can't tell you the panic attacks I had on a daily basis.
Yeah, no, it stays with us, and it leaves its mark. And a lot of people, it leaves bitter. It made you better, and now that's part of your wheelhouse of skill sets, because you now are serving people that are attempting to walk through what you walked through a decade plus ago. So you talk about the highly unique, sustainable, value-added point of difference that you bring to the conversation goes beyond what a lot of people in your business bring. So,
well, how can you lead unless you lead by example, though?
Yes. Well, yeah, you can show the scars. You can, when somebody is saying, I'm dying, you can go, well, yes, I was where you're at. It looks and sounds like you're dying. A little bit of this is hallucinating. Let me help you to, I can't put the fire out for you, but I can help you get through the fire. And I'll tell you, once they're on the other side of it, they feel like, I'm sure you saved my life. There were some definable moments where I was, I was lost, I was gone. Are you having any of those conversations yet? Or are we still too much in the soup to reminisce what it was like in the last year or so?
No, I've had that. And I actually have had a couple of clients that did zero business with me, or hardly any business with me. We had great relationships. I felt like I was a professional visitor in their salons that treat me very differently than they used to. And they were very thankful for those moments. And we're having very good conversations around, how are you going to lift your business up? How are you going to how are you going to get new stylists? How am I going to lift up my retail? Some people are still having problems with spatial issues because their salons are so big and they can only have so many people in the building, and how we continue that, because they thought, oh, that'll be over in a year. And now we're looking 18 months later.
So you're saying that the relationships had changed, where, you had relationships with people, but not really partnerships. And that as a result of helping somebody get through something, that evolved to where now there is a business part of that relationship, and Say just a little bit more about that. How many of those relationships were changed from great to see you, catch up with you, to now there's a viable financial component between you and somebody that you're serving?
Night and day. I think about 50% of those salons that maybe didn't take me so seriously or are doing like twice the business with me that they used to, and it's not that, I like I said, I'm not here to be a salesperson. I love people. I like to support people. But it really changed the dynamic of our relationship. And, I've got, new tools that Summit's given me, like the self-employed stylist scorecard. I'm able to like dissect an individual stylist business and figure out, okay, where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? What are you physically doing now? And how can we get you to that next place?
Yeah, as I'm listening to you, I get a sense that whether you're working with somebody in a self-employment community or someone in a commission salon community, there's a lot more one-on-one, and then you put enough one-on-ones together, and don't look now, but you've got a community of people that you're doing business with, and that goes way beyond sell-ins. I mean, sell-ins are always going to be a part of it, but it's when you're partnered with someone, you just know that to the degree that you can help them to make more money and grow their business, your business with them is going to grow in proportion.
Yeah, and honestly, for 22 years, I was on a daily route where I saw 8 to 10 salons. I'm working almost 80% by appointment now. Our new roles, I saw this stuff coming, and I knew I had to have myself, my pay structure changed, a lot of other things changed, but I knew I had to be even more financially responsible to myself. But I also knew what that role was going to look like, thanks to my friends like Nicole Pinzani. She went through the first phase of it, and I really, glommed on to the information that she gave us, because I was able to set myself up for success by doing more appointment-based appointments rather than just dropping in and saying hi.
Yeah, talk about that piece, because I like when you're saying that the overwhelming majority of communication you're having with your clients now, they're appointment-based. What percentage of those appointments are you using some sort of digital platform to chat, whether it's Zoom or a Teams meeting? What is that?
I love Teams. Teams. I don't really do a lot of Zoom because we don't have them on our we don't have Zoom capability on our devices, but I use Teams meetings all the time. I love Teams meetings because I can share a lot more information, and it's easier to share rather than when you're social distancing and you're having to shuffle a laptop across the table at somebody. But yeah, so it's about 50-50 for one-on-one appointments.
That's huge, because what I love about this is it's less about driving around, knocking on windows, walking in to see if the timing is right, to setting an appointment. And you're saying, today it's 50% of those appointments are happening on a digital platform, Teams. But would you say that as things continue to evolve, we'll see that percentage growing? Because like you said, you can just you have technology to show people what you're talking about, that you just don't have that access in real time.
When you're working by appointment too, think about this. I have an individual stylist that I would love to devote a lot of time to, but between their family and their career, getting a time where I can be in front of them, for an hour, 30 minutes, or whatever that looks like. It's easy if they're texting me and they're asking for information. Hey, let me send you an invite real quick. I want you to jump on this, and I'll show you the info. And it's like literally like that. And I could be, I've done it on a Saturday for clients. I don't care. As long as I'm available, I'm there for my clients.
Well,
it makes it so much easier.
As I'm listening, think about when we're using a digital platform, we've taken drive time out. So you can literally finish a meeting with a client at 1, and at 1:01 be on a meeting with another client without drive time, where in the, the good old days a year or so ago, I'm late. I mean, that all of a sudden that variable is taken out, and you get more traction on the action. That's what's been so inspiring about watching that evolve in your business.
Oh, when I used to do meetings for Anastasia, it was, they do these once a quarter, plus now they do fireside chats, but I would have to drive an hour from my home just to get to that. And then, half hour back into my territory. I mean, it would take half of my day. Now, when he does his fireside chats, it's a Zoom, and I can Zoom in with the entire team of 70 people. And half these people are, half of his employees are sitting at home and they're with their kids and everything else, but they're still getting the same information. And I feel like I'm way more engaged than I've ever been, especially with my bigger salons.
Now, I'm curious, because the world is when I say the world, the business world, whether it's our employers or are catching up to the people, our leaders are kind of catching up to this shift, this pivot. And if you're not careful, you'll go, okay, but you're not out working. And working used to be, driving around and, prospecting and all of it. It's like, no, we're still working. Like,
well, here's the thing too, is at my prospecting now, I did a lot of prospecting. I learned I was not good at Instagram before before COVID. I mean, I posted a lot of pictures of my kids, and occasionally I post a picture of some cool hairstyle or something, but I got really good at Instagram. But I started farming by finding all these new salons that were popping up that I never even knew about, because you don't see their sign on the doorway, but you see their work on Instagram. And it's insane. Like, I found 2 salons that specialize in extensions. They're 2 of my best clients to this day, right, after a year.
And you found them hunting, navigating, crawling around on a platform called Instagram. And now today I just heard the term social flirting, which basically is you find somebody, you DM them and say, hey, I love your work. And before you know it, you're chatting. And before you know it, you're DMing each other. And before you know it, they're DMing you an order.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, my God. I mean, this is what's exciting. Now, the other thing you mentioned is that's one way you're leveraging sales. The other is you and Nicole, on a weekly basis, you had this kind of like webcast/podcast on Instagram. I was on a few of those, and that was just one more way of using digital to make sales. Talk about that piece. I found that to be fascinating.
Well, it wasn't not necessarily sales. Nicole and I were frustrated that people were disengaging. And they were like, they felt like it was a permanent vacation or something. And we wanted to re-engage people. And so both of us had 2 different, but the same kind of clientele, and we had different perspectives on it. And so we wanted to use that as a platform to do that. I was doing my little fireside chats. She was doing her little car talks. And, we just wanted to, like, why are we doing this separately? Why don't we do it together every once in a while and get more information out there? We brought you in on one, and a lot of other stuff. I know Bill Neal, he does these on Friday. He's always,
he's on now. He's actually saying you can get so much more done when you're not driving. And so he's going, hallelujah, amen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's, it's just about getting the information to our clients and helping them navigate the waves. And, right now, a lot of people are stepping back a little bit and they want to work less. And we have all the tools at our disposal at our new roles as a SVP that we can take them from working 40 or 32 hours a week and stepping down some of their time so they can spend more time with their families. But they have to get serious about their business. They have to get serious about how they're doing their business when they're in their business.
Well, I mean, that's the good news. You're seeing what I'm seeing is that whether we're talking about a service provider or a salon owner that employs service providers or a service provider that is independent, I'm seeing now, it used to be, boy, if I could just get to a six-figure whatever, a six-figure W-2, a six-figure 1099, whatever it is. And now it's like more people are getting there, or high five figures, but now it pivoted from, I'm going to see how far into six I can go, to I'm going to see if I can do this working 1/3 less. Like I'm working 35.
Yeah,
I want to see if I can do this working
absolutely.
26. I'm interviewing people, as you are, calling on people that are doing that now, working 20, 21 hours a week. And it's people like you, myself, that you're coaching people to do that. And the platforms we're using are digital, so that we don't spend so much time getting there. I haven't been on an airplane in 2 years, and I don't know. I don't see
Yeah, neither have
myself.
I.
I don't see myself getting back on the road again anytime soon. And yet I am busier than I've ever been. It's just it's happening now digitally, and we're all kind of waiting for leadership to catch up to that, to say, okay, how do we make that a system? You're an innovator. I'm an innovator. We're innovators, and we're
Yeah.
pushing that envelope. So it's extraordinary to have the conversation.
Well, and I'm just like my stylist. I used to think, my dad was a workaholic. My grandfather was a workaholic. A lot of my stylists were working, like, I don't know, I can't remember your exact description, but, working 50 hours behind the chair, a mochaccino in one hand and, a, a snack cracker in the other, and you're literally burning yourself at both ends. And I think after COVID, stylists really realized what was important, and that's their families and, their downtime. And I'm kind of coming to that place myself, and I realized, especially after as much time as I devoted to helping my clients during the whole shutdown, I'm realizing that, I don't want to shortchange my own family, and they need me as well. And, burning the candle at both ends isn't going to get you there, but you just have to be smarter with your money. You have to be smarter with your time. You have to be smarter with how you schedule your thing, during the day.
And I think, Marty, whatever this looks like today, like right now, is profoundly different than what it even looked like a year ago. But having said that, we're going to blink and it's going to be this time next year, and it's going to be with this kind exponentially even blown out more, so that we're all able to, via digital, make more money, sales, clientele, with less effort, and I think that's what gives us hope. Now, Sarah Lawrence is on, and she asked a question, and that is no, that it's Sherry Brimmerman asked the question, Marty, who are you coaching?
Anyone that wants time. Anyone that wants the time. Sherry's one of my longtime clients. I've had her for 22 years, and every time she needs me, I at least pick up the phone or return a text, or, stop by when she needs me. But yeah, it's, someone that needs coaching, all they have to do is reach out to one of us and ask for it.
Yeah. And by the way, there's a difference between when you would, we'll call it coach someone, is different than showing up and, kind of FYIing them about what's going on. I'll tell you, the coaching conversations, they're not secret, but they're sacred, personal. Your people allow you into their life to inquire, and under normal circumstances, that same person may not allow people to inquire to that degree, or get uncomfortable. But it's through those disclosures that you can come up with ideas that are really kind of getting to the roots of their problem, rather than, hacking on the limbs, the symptoms.
Well, and also, someone has to be, number one, they have to be willing to be coached.
Yes.
It's one thing asking for help, but you have to be willing to be coached. And then the other thing is they have to be willing to, like, if I'm going to invest my time, because I'm willing to invest my time for free all day long, but that's not necessarily how my bread's buttered at the end of the day either. Right. So they're, they need to invest in me a little bit, with, you know,
Oh yeah.
doing more business with me, give me some more color business,
when you coach, you're not like a Summit coach that gets, a couple $100 an hour or whatever. You're compensated on what somebody buys, the commitment and supplies that they make, and so that monetization is different. So to really help somebody that you're calling on, I'll give you as much time as you like, but I'd like to be hooked up to the growth that you will enjoy through coaching you. So the commitments are better. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. I think that's why now you're called a salon business partner rather than a salon sales consultant.
Yeah, and honestly, they used to just call you the rep when you were walking in.
Right.
Sherry Brimmerman, the one you were just talking about in the chat, she's a great example of that. She devoted all of her business to me. And I mean, I showed up on a Saturday and picked up a rack from outside her salon that was damaged in UPS delivery. I'm willing to spend that extra time and go the extra mile, and try to take care of a client if they devote their business to me. And she's devoted 110% of her business to me. And I appreciate those people, it's kind of a win-win. I'm here to help you. Darren Woods, another great example. He came into this from outside the industry and bought an existing salon that was failing, that was already commissioned. And he bit the full nugget, went full Summit, made sure that 100% of his business was through me. And when he asked for help, I said, how high?
Right. Well, I mean, that's anytime I'm in your backyard and doing something for one of your clients, you're always there. Yeah, I mean, you and I were on like a retreat together at Ensemble. I mean, we were out in the middle of the forest.
Silverton, Silver Falls, Silverton, Oregon, I think. Yeah.
I felt less like, whoa, where are we? But we for 2 days we walked through and we got very, very specific. And you can just do that when you're a partner, because you know that to the degree that people grow, you're going to enjoy that growth. So it's a very different conversation, a different model. And people like you are continuing to pioneer and innovate it. So kudos to you.
Well, kudos to my coworkers, my six pack of joy, Sarah Lawrence, my other Sarah, Leslie, Tori, Nicole Pinzani, all these guys. I mean, and those guys help get me through it. As much as I help my clients, they help me get through all the pain of the last 2 years.
Well, Sarah was calling it the six pack of joy calls during the shutdown. Marty and Nicole played a huge part in keeping our community inspired. So she's probably talking about the six pack of joy, huh?
Yeah. I love our people.
What is the six pack of joy? What was that, like 6 people hanging out, or like what was that?
It was happy hour on a Friday when we were done with it. When we were burned at both ends.
Yeah.
But we did some Instagram stuff. We did some Facebook stuff for clients and talking about PPP money and some other stuff. But we wanted it to just be more loose, relaxed. Like, let's not let all of this, burn us down. Let's,
and that all happened. That all happened on a digital platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, listen, 2 things. One, I'm way over. I wanted to let the conversation go because I loved how rich it was. I'll be chopping it up into little bites, and putting it on some of the digital platforms that I hang out on. But I'd love to have you come and hang out with me in 2022. I'm doing a podcast, a series of podcasts for L'Oreal PPD every single Monday, but one Monday a month is devoted purely to salon business SBPs. And I'd like to have you come back and help me kick it off, maybe even be a co-host with me, and bring in a Sarah Lawrence, and the 3 of us are talking, and bring in a Nicole Pizzani. And I think it would be wonderful to like maybe pick up where we left off. So does that sound interesting to you?
Absolutely. I do it any day of the week for you, brother.
Oh man, well I got my calendar on right now on Facebook. Got Sarah Lawrence, I got Bill Neal on right. So we got probably 6 months of conversation. So I'll catch up with you on the back end of here, and let's plan it.
Sounds good. I love you, brother. Thank you for everything you've done for me and all my clients' careers. You're an inspiration.
I'll tell you, we bring out the good in each other. We as a result of hanging out, our families are well taken care of, and we continue to push the envelope. Bill Neal had 3 words: pioneer, innovators, and leaders. And so when I Google that, I get a link to your life. So all right, have a good day, and we're going to give it up for you one more time. Marty Van Wagner. I'll be in touch with you, Marty. Stay well. All right.
Love you, everyone. Stay cool.
All right. What a wonderful conversation, you guys. We're going to have a lot to talk about. I can hardly wait to sit down with my guy Rob Miller and say, "Ooh, how do we?" Especially the second part of this. It was just really cool how that came to pass. I loved. The idea, he's one of a handful of people, Sarah Lawrence, Bill Neal, Nicole Bazzani, Peter Cole, right? They're SBPs, used to be SSCs, but now SBPs, showing up every day, whether it's online, sometimes it's in real time, and coaching people to grow their business, which is way different than, let me sell you something. I'm going to grow your business and not worry about selling you something. If we're partners, that'll happen anyway, because to the degree that I help you grow your business, I'm helping you get more of your clients involved in your services and products. Those are the same services and products that you're buying from me. So that's all going to happen, but it's a very, very, very different conversation. And now today with digital, it's a very different daily, weekly, monthly modem of operandi. Like Marty said, we're working as much as we've ever worked before, but we're doing less driving around. We're doing less knocking on a window to see if they're home. First of all, are they in there, right? And if they are, can they talk? We're doing a lot less roaming around the salon and sitting in a back room. That's lessening, and it's all happening on the internet. Whether it's DMing on an Instagram, whether it's a team meeting with a salon owner and 7, 8, 9 other people are having a conversation from their home. It's not being a lame ass, it's being smart. And it's happening very, very quickly. And whatever it looks like now, it was virtually non-existent a year or so ago. And we just know intuitively that as different as it is and looks today, it's going to be exponentially greater in Q1 or Q2 of next year, never mind the back end of next year. So we're going to be having this conversation one Monday a month as a podcast from January through December. And I got Marty to make a commitment to be a co-host, and we'll get Nicole, and we'll get Bill Neal, we'll get Sarah Lawrence, we'll get Peter Cole, and we'll get, and to raise this consciousness through the conversations, establish a language, establish a new modem of operandi where people can make more money than they've ever made in their lives, make more sales than they could possibly imagine, help more people than they ever thought was possible by becoming internet Jedis, social digital Jedis. I now know that to be a reality deep in my core, and it's going to be inspiring to be a part of pushing that envelope in 2022. So went way over today, but that's okay. The conversation was very rich. We'll pick up where we left off in about a month. And in the meantime, great being with everyone. We're going to do another live this Thursday night, and we'll go from there. So have a great day, and we'll chat soon.